Now, everybody in Toronto and the GTA has been talking about real estate for over a decade now. It's on top of all the conversations, on top of everyone's mind, whether it's multiple offers, prices going up, how much you made with your investment over the last couple of years, and recently, interest rates. Everybody talks about real estate. But what if I, and First Access Condos, could take you back to 2015, 2016, a time when prices were almost half of what they are today. Now, we don't have time machines, but we have something better. We have a dedication and a work ethic to find you, our clients, the best deals possible. And sometimes we need to think outside the box. To make magic happen, you need to be creative. And what First Access Condos did is went and we found Calgary. That's right, Calgary. And we're gonna teach you why we ourselves and many other realtors that we mentor have started buying in Calgary, and why Calgary is the best real estate investment in the country. Now, to know what's gonna happen in the future, and to understand today, you must look to the past. So we looked at what happened in the old Calgary and how it transformed into the bustling metropolis that's growing at a faster rate and voted the #1 place to live in North America. So let's go back to 2019. In 2019, we saw a crisis in Alberta, an all-out crash. What was the cause of this? 1, there was a price drop on all energy sectors across the board. 2, there was a significant increase in the cost of oil and gas production. 3, that led to a skyrocketing vacancy rate up to 30% for residential and office properties. There was a mass exodus from Calgary and the province as a whole. Unemployment skyrocketed to 6.4% and more than doubled compared to 2018. All that within 12 months. Imagine, it was essentially the apocalypse. And 5, net migration both internationally and interprovincially slowed to record low numbers. Now, what did the government do once they were facing this cataclysmic challenge in 2009? They had to do something, but it couldn't be something that was a quick fix. No band-aid solution would work. That would be temporary, and they would fall into the same problem again. So what they did is they had a vision. And with some of the best minds in the country, they created a 10-year plan that from start to finish would catapult this city into one of the best economic powerhouses and greatest places to live on the continent, not just the country. Now, they aimed high, but to achieve those goals, they had 4 steps. 1, they lowered taxes and created various provincial programs to ensure that the province was ripe and ready for business. 2, they made significant changes for students as well as changes to the immigration system. And currently, you can get a PR card 3 times faster in Calgary than in Ontario or Toronto. Number 3, huge, significant infrastructure for transportation. That's right. And currently, they're about to complete one of the best LRT systems in North America, ensuring that people can move from suburbs to the city and city to the suburbs with relative ease and efficiently. And 4, they created the best conditions for IT companies to grow, as well as educated and invited top human capital from high-tech jobs all over the world. They knew that they could no longer be dependent to the roller coaster of gas and fuel prices. So they shifted the economy focus. And currently, from previous 75-25 ratio of the fuel energy sector to other forms of business, they've switched that, made it a 180. Only 25% of the economy is currently dependent on oil and gas, insulating their success now and to the future. Now, Calgary had 604,225 people with a post-secondary education or other qualification in 2016. And Calgary's population is one of the highest educated and youngest across the country. So they're young, they're educated, and they have the jobs around them to succeed. And this is catapulting the province, not just now, but quickly into the future. Now, what is the end result of this fantastic 10-year plan? 1, They created excellent conditions for development in manufacturing and IT sector, and they're currently becoming one of the top IT destinations and creating a brain drain from other places across the continent to Calgary. 2, highly educated young professionals graduating from major universities, some of which are the University of Calgary, Mount Royal, SAIT, Ambrose, and St. Mary's. These universities are packed, and they currently have a housing shortage that surpasses Toronto, with university students not being able to find accommodations. Imagine how many people are flocking there. What about international students and immigration? Well, remember what I just said earlier. It's 3 times quicker to get your PR card there than in Toronto and Ontario as a whole. So where would you go? The place that's booming and the place where you can get residency? Of course you would. Number 3, Calgary became the world's number 3 and Canada's number 1 most livable city. Now think about that. Even with the harsh winters we all hear about, it's still the number 1 city to live in Canada and number 3 on the globe. And 4, a large number of high-paying jobs at the same time and the lowest unemployment rate in Canada. It is the best place to live, best place to work, and what is it also the best place for? Investment, that's right, because when all the other factors are at play, it is ripe for investment. Alberta is now home to 3,000 tech companies as of today. That's a 233% increase than a decade ago. That's right, 233% increase. Now, if you wanted a sign of how they shifted the economy, that's it. Now, we told you what happened before and what led up, but let me tell you what's happening to Calgary today. Now, Calgary is home to more than 1.4 million people and is one of the fastest growing cities in the country and the continent. I keep repeating that, and the continent. Number 2, Calgary's citizens are young. There's a median age of 37.2. That means for their economy, their working force has 3 decades left, plus all the new immigration. Calgary is the 3rd most diverse city in the country with 120 languages spoken. That's right, it's quickly becoming a melting pot of cultures, ideas, and it's ripe for growth. And 4, it has a pro-business economy and friendly, low-tax business climate to promote growth. And how does that affect us, the real estate investor? Well, it is extremely pro-landlord. That's right. No landlord-tenant board headaches like we have in Ontario. No land transfer tax, no development charges, but trust me, they'll be coming to Calgary sooner than you think. And no land transfer tax, saving you tens of thousands. No HST. There is a GST, but it's less than half, and there's also a rebate for it. Alberta favors landlords and investors. That's right, I touched on that. Imagine your tenant doesn't pay, they're out in 30 days. If that happens to us here in Ontario, we could go into power of sale before we even get in front of the landlord-tenant board. No rent control. You own that. You bought it. You pay to service that debt. You should decide what your rent's going to be, and you can make it as such. And affordability, with prices less than 50% of Toronto, but rents close to 75% of ours. It's cash flow positive, even at times with record high interest rates. Now, we talked about the past, the buildup. We talked about the present. Now let's talk about what we as investors care about. The future of Calgary. So what's happening in the city? What kind of big projects are happening? And you know, cities start building new arenas and venues when they're ready to welcome people, when their city's ready to take the world stage. An NHL level arena, the event center, is being planned. The BMO Center is currently under a major expansion. The Arts Commons transformation is a new facility and renewal of the existing building. And finally, a brand new Foothills Fieldhouse, a new multi-sport fieldhouse. They're expecting population. They're expecting business. And how do you move these people to and fro? Well, there's no better way to do it than a near $5 billion new green LRT line that'll take you right across the city. This is being completed by federal, provincial, and municipal levels of government all working together and infusing $4.9 billion into the project to guarantee its success. Toronto versus Calgary and purchasing pre-construction, what we care about. The Toronto pre-construction investor that wants to know why they should buy in Calgary. Let's talk about Toronto. What we have and what the world knows we have is high prices. 20% deposit usually is required for that. Various fees and taxes, 25% of our purchase price is in the form of development charges, taxes, levies, and then land transfer tax. 25%, $1 million condo, developers only getting $750. But the government apparently needs $1.5 billion in Toronto. That's for another webinar. Complicated contracts up to 60 pages long, 50 to 60,000 in closing costs, and an occupancy period, that could take up to 6 months, if not longer. Now we're going to shift over to Calgary, and I can account to this as I'm an owner there myself. Prices are less than 2 times that of Toronto, averaging 45% of our unit prices. Only a 10% deposit, but because you can pull out equity that's built during construction and supplement your 10% to reach the 20 to get an investment mortgage, you can actually buy with 10% down for real. No land transfer tax, no provincial sales tax, and no development charges. That's right, $250,000 savings. In reality, we're almost double Calgary because of taxes, fees, and levies. Simple pre-construction contract without hidden fees. Guaranteed rent because people are paying to live there, massive housing shortage, and a lot of developers offer guaranteed rent because they know that rents will far exceed what they're offering to supplement for you. And minimal closing costs. All you and I pay is legal fees and a relatively quick and pain-free occupancy period. Toronto versus Calgary renting a property. Let's see what happens. Let's start with Toronto and then we'll do the comparison. Toronto, rent control for condos built before 2018. That's right, if you have an older condo and you want to buy a resale condo, caveat emptor. That's Latin for buyer beware, because the government will tell you how much you're allowed to raise your rent, and nobody cares about interest rates and how your mortgages have gone up. Imagine seeing your mortgage double, but your rent going up by 2.8%. Automatic contract extension. Your tenant does not have to leave after the contract. It automatically renews. So imagine you want to sell the property and your tenant doesn't want to leave. Well, that's called cash for keys, and it's a unique Toronto phenomenon. Eviction process is time-consuming, near impossible, and painstakingly difficult. Someone stuck at the Ontario Landlord Tenant Board trying to get someone out is comparable to being stuck in purgatory. That's right, a biblical reference for something that difficult. It actually fits. It is illegal to make a no pets condition. You just spent $10,000 on brand new hardwood floors? That's okay. You can say no pets and then your tenant can have 6 dogs. Well, something like that. But you're getting my picture. I'm painting it so that you understand it. And there is no such thing as a damage deposit here in Ontario. Calgary, no rent control. You charge what you feel is necessary. No automatic contract extension. When the lease is up, the lease is up. Sounds simple? Apparently it's not as simple as it should be here where we are. Easy and quick eviction process. 30 days as opposed to 12 months. It is legal to add a no pets condition in the contract. It is your property. You worked to buy it. You service the debt load. You maintain it. You should be in charge of who is the tenant. Alberta is known to be a landlord paradise. That's true. But it's also a paradise for renters because it's been proven. When landlords are allowed to control their own product, it actually benefits the rental market and more product, quality product, goes for rent. Damage deposits are legal. Investment calculations. This is important because this is the meat and potatoes of why we have started to invest there and why you are going to invest there too. And again, I'm not knocking Toronto, but this is for those people that either have Toronto properties or aren't able to get in the Toronto market. This is an alternative for you to get your feet into the real estate market before it becomes too expensive Canada-wide. Selling the property before closing, the 4-year strategy. Purchase price, $360,000. Deposit, remember, it's only 10, not 20. There's no more needed at occupancy, 36 grand. Market value on occupancy in 2027, 460,000. That's a 6% appreciation per year. Profit before sale, an even 100,000. Cost of sale, 11.5. The developer exit fee option, that's a fancy way of saying the developer sells it for you. Profit after sale, 88.5. Now remember, it's 88.5, but profit on an investment is calculated in percentages. So because you've only put 10% down, not 20, that's a 245% return or 61% per annum. That's right, double the returns compared to Toronto because you're putting half down. That's why this is golden. We got selling 10 down after 2 years guaranteed rent. And remember, for the developer to guarantee your rent, they know that rent's gonna get higher than what they're offering. Same purchase price, same unit. Same deposit, same unit. Same evaluation at occupancy, same calculation, very conservative. Closing cost of $2,000. Purchase price $362 when we incorporate that. Our mortgage of $324 works out to $1,366 a month. Now before you guys that are going to complain and say that it's only 3% down, all 6 banks are finally in agreement of one thing. That by 2025 rents will be at around 2.5% and we're looking at 2027. Maintenance free $300, taxes $170, insurance $30, utility $200. We have a total monthly net expense of $2,066. Guaranteed rent of $2,121 minus $1,320 cash flow in 2 years. Principal paid by tenant $13,735. Price after 4 years in construction and 2 years guaranteed rent at 6 conservative percent is $510K. That's $187,000 of profit minus the cost of the sale is $161,820 profit after your 4 years of construction, your 2 years of guaranteed rent, and you're coming in at an astronomical 450% return on your initial investment. That's 75% per year, and I guarantee you, you're not going to find anything better than that anywhere in the real estate world on this planet. Now, today people who hold cash equivalents feel comfortable. They should not. They have opted for a terrible long-term asset, one that pays virtually nothing and is certain to depreciate in value. That's basically where we are right now, said a while ago by investment guru Warren Buffett, because your dollar yesterday is worth less today than it was yesterday. Your dollar from a year ago is worth significantly less today. So putting your money in the bank, it's not really making you anything. It's making the bank money. You should put your money where the pros put their money. Invest where the investors invest. And at First Access Condos, we invest in pre-construction condos, and now we're investing in Calgary. First Access Condos, don't be second.